Okay, so, it's going to be the first kind of video I put on here. This is just going to kind of tell you how all the controls work and some things the game doesn't necessarily tell you, but you should probably learn how to do. First off, if you just press options, you can go down to item crafting. I'm going to put a video out on how you get specific pouches and different crafting, but this lets you craft all your stuff. Darts can be thrown to inflict damage. I don't find they deal very much, but you know, maybe if you get some poison darts made with that, you can use something decent. But these are where you can make your fire arrows for your bows, and you can make ones without actually having to buy them, because they're a little bit on the expensive end, technically. But then if you come down here to stats, you can see all where your points are going. You'll see spells here. You'll see your great runes, which you don't have great runes or spells yet. And you can see your level, how many runes you have, and how many runes you need to level up. If you haven't leveled up yet, or if you're still low level, it's probably like 40, or like 400 or something like that. Mine's 1500 because I'm level 50. But this is your different attribute points. Vigor, mine's currently 16. That's your total health. Your mind is your total mana, so how much spells you can use. Endurance is your stamina. Strength is the strength stat you need to wield a weapon. Dexterity is the dexterity stat for weapons. Those are usually good for smaller weapons or one-handed weapons, and larger weapons that have more of a curved shape to them, like mine. Intelligence is the level of spells you can use. Like most spells require, like most good spells, I should say, require like 20 to 30 intelligence. Faith is for a slightly different type of spell, and it's called incantations, and you need decent faith for that, and you'll need a bit of intelligence too. And arcane is also for spells. If you just look at spells, it kind of just shows you how much faith and the stats you need for them. If you look right here, you have your pouch. You have a Memory of Grace, which I don't ever recommend you use those. It returns you back to the grace point and you lose all your runes. But if I come over here and just press X on them, it'll use it. And if I press triangle, I can switch it out. I currently have a lantern, my horse whistle, which I'll show you how to get, and a telescope, which I can show you how to get that too. And I still haven't figured out what to do with these. So if I press down on my D-pad, you'll notice I have my sword and shield. My sword and my shield. I'm using a heavy weapon, and then at the bottom I have my flasks, which is this flask, which I'll show you how to get, and just a bunch of items down here that I have that I can use. And if I hold down triangle, it brings me into this little pouch menu, and if I press left, you can see the steed ring is there, so I can press left on it. If I want to use my lantern, I can press right on that arrows, because these respond to arrow keys, and I can press down on the telescope, and then now I got my telescope, which is really useful. And when you're holding this right option, it doesn't tell you, but you can switch to dual wield your weapons. So let's say I want to use sword and shield. I now have a sword and shield, and if I hold triangle and press my top right bumper, it's going to dual wield whatever's in my right hand. And if I press my top left bumper, it's going to dual wield whatever's in my left hand. So there's that. To be honest, I don't really know if there's anything else that comes to that menu, but there's that. Let's say you have a couple items equipped in your menu and you can't find what it is, if you go down to your equipment and make sure your health class is in your first spot, and let's say I'm like down here, if I hold down on my arrow pad, it automatically goes back to my first spot, which is my health potions. So it keeps you from losing them in a fight. Otherwise, here's your weapons and stuff. I'll tell you what all these things mean in a separate video. But this is your stats, and most importantly is your equip load. If you go over 70% of your equip load, which mine is 70, if I go over 70% of my equip load, I get a heavy load and I don't roll very well. see right now I roll like normal, which is good for a boss fight. But if I get a heavy load, which I can go do real fast by putting this sword on, you'll see that you can see that I kind of just roll a lot slower and I can't roll right. And with getting a heavy equip load, it'll mess with your settings, so make sure you watch your equipment. But otherwise, that's really it for this video. Actually, sorry, there's one thing I need to cut out. There's multiple times of attacks. I'm sure you've learned this because you use the sword and shield for right now. But if you press the light attacks, and then you have right 2 for your heavy attacks with your one-handed weapon. And if you want to use your shield, you can hold it up, and if it has the parry skill, you can press the bottom to parry. But my shield doesn't have a skill, so it uses my sword special ability, which you have the Uchi Katana right now. But if you're using this sword, if you dual wield your sword skill is always available. Even if you have a shield, you'll put your shield away and use it, and then you press right 2 to use it. Your bottom right trigger on your left side of your controller. Well, that's right one, isn't it? Your bottom right trigger on your left side of your controller. That activates the skill that's in your left hand, or if you're dual wielding, it activates the skill, just whatever dual wielding skill you got. But that's pretty much it for this video. In the next video, I'll probably repost up a video of how to go through the first few grace points in order to start story stuff and let you level up.